This is Unofficially Official. I'm Star Miller, and
I'm Mayor Mike.
we want to welcome you to our podcast where we fully intend to educate you on all things local. Welcome back to Unofficially Official. I'm Star Miller. I'm here with...
I am Mayor Mike Peavy, and I'm going to speak right now for just a second because this is probably the last time you hear me talk
for the
because
next
of our
29
guest.
minutes.
Our guest
With
today,
that,
yeah,
Brian Sheehan.
Our guest today is Brian Sheehan. Brian works for HWC.
Oh, okay.
Listen to the applause. Very nice, very nice.
And we are in the process of doing a downtown comprehensive plan, and Brian's firm is helping with it. This is kind of a rare, not rare overall, but it could be in another community, a rare situation where Brian is the consultant, but he also serves in a lot of capacities at the local level as a contributor to the plan. Has been obviously a former employee as the director of special
Isn't that
projects.
probably the best of both worlds?
Yeah,
If you are doing a project,
it
I was
is.
like, get to the mic.
So anyway, Brian, let's talk about the downtown plan. Let's talk about the things that went into it. There's some polling. There's
Maybe
all kinds
just
of
say
stuff.
what it even is, the downtown plan.
Sure.
I want you
First
to
of all,
say-
it's great to be back. I don't remember what was Mayor on the Mic was the
Mayor Mike,
was
we better
the
not. I don't know.
old show
Right.
back in the day.
Yeah.
Sorry about the use of the trademark.
Yeah, please don't
there.
sue us.
But nice to be
Sue
back with you
Mike.
too. And next to the board operator, people talk about the difference between what I had to offer and Kyle. And there are many different ways where we're stronger or weaker than one another. But I don't know. I'd know what to do with that little piece of equipment over there. So nice
This
to
would
work.
not be possible without Kyle.
Kyle's new nickname is Depends.
So the downtown plan started a while back. The mayor and I were talking, and although we have done a ton of planning, and I guess I could say that a little bit is in my new role. I get to travel East Central Indiana and talk about a variety of different things, and our company handles roads, bridges, streets, planning, utilities. We do a ton of things, but
Infrastructure.
yes, a lot of infrastructure.
Mhm.
But one of my things that I think in working in conjunction with Mayor Pavey in the past, planning was very important to us, and we really did work hard to go out and engage the community, kind of have a grassroots up planning approach, determine what projects we would do, and then to work that plan, really drive it home with some of the project development. So that all started with some vision, which certainly as you travel around the state, Mayor Pavey is known throughout the state and region as a very visionary mayor.
Rebel.
Rebel?
A rebel without a cause.
But the other thing is just the team that he was able to build that worked to implement and get projects done. So the closest we've really come to a downtown plan, we did a small one back.
Well, I was getting ready to ask you, did we do something called the comprehensive plan, and then was that through the state? Was that through the city?
There's a city.
Okay.
So that's really where we started. In 2014, we did
Okay.
a comprehensive plan. We updated that in 2020. That's more comprehensive,
Right.
where it takes on
Like that name.
a lot of the topics that you might handle in a community. And then you could dive down into like a strategic investment plan for economic development. There are parks plans. There's a number of different things that you can do. So downtown plan will literally focus pretty much as it will state.
It says it is.
Downtown, and the area that is being covered primarily is from the rail to the river and
Okay.
Morgan to Perkins. So everything that falls in that area, not that there aren't other things that contribute to that, but that's going to be a key part of that. So, this is a fun one for me too, because I will typically be a part or participate if this were another community.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be at the meetings and kind of sit back and occasionally say, hey, I've seen this, or you might think of that or whatever. But here, it's going to be a lot of fun because basically you get to saddle up hip to hip here with Mr. Gardner. And
I'd like to just because I think the definition of a lot of fun is going to depend on whose perspective.
Right.
yes, that's true.
Kyle does not look as happy as Brian.
Brian looks very cuddly to
And Kyle looks apprehensive.
Kyle is kind of off in
Yeah.
a corner.
Bless his
Yes.
heart.
But this is certainly one of those. And for those that don't know it, I've been with HWC for about 3 years.
And that's all.
Behind the scenes, there's been a ton of communication back and forth between Kyle and I, and there are things that were maybe some of my strong suits, which occasionally is maybe the marketing, the planning, some of those things that I've been happy to assist. And then there's been plenty of times in us getting together that I've learned a ton from what he's brought to the position. AI
And he's
is.
a youngin'.
AI, technology, those are the things that I really had to rely on interns. So the city only got that for about 10 weeks out of the year, and they get those things throughout the year. So I guess I should shut up for a second. Maybe you ask a question about.
I was just going to ask. So what is the first part of the plan? That's what people always want to know, right? What happens first? You look up. You look up.
Yes. What? I've never.
Polling.
The very first thing that we have done and has started is a survey.
Okay.
And so you're really just trying to gather information from the community to kind of figure out what do they feel is important, what things are we doing well, what aren't we doing well, that kind of thing. And we partnered that with our community scorecard survey, which is the city has done a survey every 2 years since 2014. That is unheard of. I can't name another community. I can only name a couple of communities that have done a survey that's similar more than once. But for for a community to do that, and if you remember, if you've ever taken the survey, I don't know if you have, and I don't want to hold you. It asks a lot of questions, and it takes forever, is what some people said. But it's like, look, one time every 2 years, the city reaches out and says, hey, what do you think?
I would say that piggybacks on what we spoke about last time, which is you do have opportunities as a community member to voice your concerns. That's a nice way to put it. And maybe that's the best way to do it rather than, sounding boards like social media.
Yes.
Plus, I think that the ability to do that survey, I don't think people understand how important that is for the next 2 years. For us to set the direction of projects.
I think there's something to be said. I mean, with the world in the state that it is, perhaps it's okay to do nice things to push humanity forward. I mean, forever. It takes
it's
forever.
A lofty goal.
It doesn't take forever. It takes 3.5 minutes. That's
and I think
it doesn't take longer than that, really.
We hit that a couple different ways this time around. We also have always reached out to local industry, the school, the hospital, places like that, to say, hey, would you participate? So the first thing I like to talk about is the participation. We have never had below 750 participants, and it's usually between 750 and 1,100.
Mm-hmm.
That is huge for a community our size.
A lot of ideas.
It's usually about 60%, 60 to 65% is Rushville. About 30%, 35%, somewhere in there will fall out in the county, but outside of Rushville. And then we invite visitors or people that work here, travel through to participate. So we get a good, I think a really good quality cross section of those who use our goods and wares here in Rushville.
So you're going to take all of that information, and then what happens?
So there's a couple of things. There's a few questions that we've asked at the top of the survey that I think they're just kind of fun, just to get a feel for like the overall feeling of where the community is. And we have like Rushville's a great place to raise a family. Most of the questions are 1 to 5.
Okay.
So 5 is excellent, you love it. 1 is this is terrible. Why am I here? Are you ready to say something?
No, he just hit his face on.
All right. Perfect. So Rushville's a great place to raise a family. 4.0, 4 out of 5. Rushville's a great place to live. 4.02. Those are solid numbers.
Those are solid numbers.
Then just to make sure, I like to ask questions that are kind of in the negative sometimes too. So I make sure somebody's just not hitting 4s and 5s all the way down. They're paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
So there are plenty of things to do in Rushville on the weekends. 2.77, a little bit below average. But the great news is that's actually climbed every year we've done the survey. So we're moving in the right direction. We just, so those are some of the things that we look at.
Also, I think when entertainment type things come into the community, it takes a little bit for them to get established. You guys would say that even about the amphitheater and the concert series. Because, in all honesty, it was the amphitheater before there was a concert series, right? I mean, you have to build. You have to.
Yep, and the concert series. Mentioning that one, that's kind of there are 2 or 3 marks that kind of show you that the high end of the scores you're going to get. The fire department always scores extremely well. They come out, they put out fires, they take care of people. They're not doing a lot of harm. Planning and zoning falls a little lower. They tell people no. There are things there. So we're mindful of that when we look at some of the organizations. But the concert series has been like in the 3.38 range.
And how long has it been in existence now?
Since 2005. If you can believe that. 20 years.
That's crazy.
Then some of the questions that we asked this time around. Well, another thing that's kind of nice is a lot of the grants will ask you, how do you measure success? We're one of the few that can say we do a survey every 2 years. We'll take a look at the numbers to see how that affected, whatever it is that you're trying to change.
Meaning if the city were filling out a grant application, those questions are
correct
usually.
So like with Stellar, it was like, hey, did it affect your downtown? Well, you can see.
It affected our sanity.
Yes.
That's a big process.
But you look at our downtown, it went from like a 2.89 to a 3.1 to 3.3 to 3.89.
Yeah.
Well, another reason the downtown study I think is important is that number has kind of fallen back down a little bit, not to low, but it's maybe 3.69 now. So why is that? Well, part of it is what have you done for me lately? We want to see something happen at all times. Plus, we've had some things
maybe
such as
called the survey that people would be more excited.
But if we sat around and thought about like what has happened in downtown Rushville that might have taken that number down. Well, the library moved to the community center. You had a fire that burned down the corner restaurant.
So wild to me.
It really sounded like you were saying the fire department burned down.
No, they're
still rated really high.
Their score may go down lower next year. People heard that way. But the pharmacy closed. There's a new business and a lot of investment going there, but they're different things. So
just like what I said earlier, like you have to start somewhere. Businesses and entertainment, they have to start somewhere base, and people may not like them because they don't know much about them yet.
And early on, the sentiment that I would see is if you are an empty nester like me and you don't mind going out, listening to music and having a drink, downtown's
a total vibe.
Downtown's pretty cool for that segment. Right now.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Fish Moon, you can eat there. You can go to 2 bourbon bars. There's music at various areas. And that stuff didn't exist before. But I'm hearing from the survey, that's all great. But now what for families? So
sure, yeah. But again, you have to start somewhere. So I kind of feel like this is just a building block on what has already been accomplished, obviously.
Yep. I think that's fair.
Well, I think
I mean, I know that HWC didn't do all that before, but
no, and that's the thing.
It's the infrastructure. It's the foundation upon which these projects will be built, right?
And some of the assets that we started to look at, like when I said there's now live music downtown. Well, at one point that might have been the Elks open mic night. That was it.
Sure, yeah.
And now when we went to look at like where are places that are doing music, there were 11? Like 11 different places that you could see live music sometime throughout the year.
That's nice.
So then you start to think about connectivity. How do you connect those? And so some of the early things that are coming out are support for alley activation that I could get to and from some of the places I talked about earlier. From Riverside, you think about Hoosiers Gym is Knightstown's a place that I've done some work. And they're trying to figure out, we have all these visitors that come to the Hoosiers Gym, but do they
shop antiques on US 40?
But do they come that way? Because they found out and said that many of the people come in, it directs them down a side path that gets them to the gym. So they're trying to figure out how do I make sure it directs them
around
through the town, and then how do I create an attractive connector between the gym and the town? So Riverside Park for us is no different.
Branding.
We get 2,500 people that show up 6 times a year, and how many of them show up, go to the concert, and leave? Well, what if you had a way that connected that a little better? So that's would it be safe to say some of the conversations.
Of course.
And I think the one thing that The reason we push so hard for this right now is since the last survey, and maybe even before, the survey before, when you talk about downtown, there has been really a lot of dynamics that change downtown. Like Brian talked about, the old library, well, it moved. You've got the two thrifty girls. You've got a lot of stuff, the corner restaurant, pharmacy, like you talked about. Mildred is not in our downtown, although they do work in our downtown.
Yes.
But all of those things happened, and some of those are structural. So in other words, they're buildings that just have changed ownership and changing it. But some is the generational thing of who is going downtown and what are they doing downtown. And so whenever we purchased the library, it became kind of one of those where how do we sit down and have a conversation with the community. In Indianapolis, they call that the Capital Improvement Board that does all their investment downtown. And for us, it was how do we have that kind of a conversation? And it was like, well, maybe it's time for a downtown comprehensive plan. And so this is kind of a small town's version of reaching out and very specifically talking about an area and then leaving that and creating something from it that's impactful.
Isn't it wild? I mean, I wonder how many people consider that this is part of your job. I mean, these things are part of your job.
I think it's how every mayor defines their job. Brian, I'm sure.
And I would certainly say there's plenty of mayors around that do not concern themselves with things like this pertaining to their jobs.
I always have fundamentally felt that a city is as healthy as the community as a whole. And so we do a lot of, and Brian was a part of it, Kyle's a part of it now. We do a lot of incubating of, hey, by the way, you guys seem really weak right here. Can we help you out? Or, if they're really strong, we kind of stay out of their way and just say, is there anything you need as far as support? But I think that we have been successful in the fact that we get ourselves involved in a variety of different areas, concert series.
But I feel like those are all offerings to the greater public to participate in. I mean, if you don't make them, then people can't come to them.
And that is also not something that's completely common across the state.
That's a better way to say it.
What I think Rushville has done an excellent job over time is learning when, and I use the term provide air cover. It's like you're down there, whether it's the chamber doing events or Main Street doing events, it's like honoring and respecting what they're doing and saying like we didn't sign up to do that part. But we're going to provide some air cover, maybe help with setup, help with tear down.
We want it to be successful for you.
Which that's another thing in the survey.
And for the persons who will attend from the community, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I think for the community, it's nice when they can't really tell who's what's happening here.
Right.
Is this the chamber or the city? It's like, yes.
But it's just good.
But
and I think another community that does a really, really good job. I think Greensburg does their Tree City and stuff like that very well.
Greensburg is kind of hopping right now.
Oldenburg does a really nice job on their festival. If somebody said, who does that? I couldn't tell you whether it's the city, the county, or the group of volunteers.
But you could also name 15 people that go.
And I don't remember, the volunteers that they pull out for that, I'll probably get this number wrong, but hopefully this will at least make it how big it is. They make like 1,100 dozen sauerkraut balls. They start making it like 5 months prior to the event. So
they're really fermented.
That's right. Well, a couple other things that I would say, like planning efforts do, something I've said so many times that I kind of get tired of saying it, is the best way to get a project funded is to have a good project ready to be funded. And the best way to find a project that needs to be funded is through these planning efforts. And again, it's something that I give credit to Mike as I travel around the state is there has been nobody better at working 3 or 4 projects ahead so that when money falls out of the sky, and that's kind of the way it happens anymore, whether it's Lilly, Ready, Stellar, you've got to have things ready because they're going to give you like 2 months to get your act together, to submit. Here's what it's going to look like. Here's a dollar amount.
And just the basic grant application for anything is arduous.
And most people will wait around and they'll have an idea. So the difference is, we want to do a concert series. Okay, fine. Well, we've already, I'm going back to 2005.
Sure.
We found property. We got people to put up a building. The next time
to get on stage.
We got some music. We started sponsor. And I think that's another critical thing is do what you can when you can.
Yeah,
the one thing I would love to say though, and I can't say it enough, and I'm sure this is, Kyle gets this all the time now. But It's like, well, all you can do is set the stage
True.
the best you can.
Yeah.
And then go out and try to sometimes maybe incent that, sometimes not. But when people are, we need a Meyer. Okay, well, they're not coming. They're not coming to Rushville because of the market that they're looking for. But people really do think that the mayor has a catalog.
Yes, we've talked about this.
And
before,
can just select it, and
it's so
here
much
it comes.
not up to a municipality and so much more up to the company.
Maybe that's Kyle's next adventure into AI, which is me looking through my research
retail
catalog,
catalog.
what we're going to go out and buy.
Golf shirts. That's what Kyle would buy.
But I think the other nice thing, though, is the survey allows us to have real data of what people are thinking. And and if people are saying we want youth activities, well, if the mayor does have any dollars that he can figure out how to incent something, we'll just play a little game here. Would the public support incentives to bring in a new pizza place?
Like on
A gas station,
that.
a bank, like those are
Hotel.
Yes, please.
hotel. You'll get some interest, right?
Right.
Or there are some of them that are harder because they seem so easy. How about a putt-putt course? Well, that's still a private entity. You got to figure that out. But the survey is definitely saying, like, if you were to incent some activities like that,
I love
I
putt-putt
think
golf. I'm
you
sorry I
would.
got stuck on that. I really, that would be awesome.
So, there was a rumor that Mildred was going to donate a golf course, or the putt-putt course. That's so nice to hear.
And you know where the holes are? Wherever the boring machine is.
Yeah.
Yeah, wherever a mistake has been made,
Yeah.
the holes are all over the
Avoid the
town.
flags and the paint on the ground.
But I think the end result of this will be vision that is pulled together with community input, a consensus of what that will be, specific projects that you'll go after, and then hopefully some of these you may even start to see some renderings of ideas that can happen.
I was going to say earlier too, having that data from the surveys taken by community members, I'm sure that also attributes to the success of applications with grants and getting funding.
Yep.
I mean, it's just more, it's back. I mean, it's proof that this community has voted in this way.
I think you're exactly right, and I just think that people that take the time to plan, and obviously that does good for me in twofold of like, hey, Brian's out there and he sells plans. Surely he's going to say that. But I think the mayor will tell you, whether it be the comp plan in 14 or in 20 or the strategic plan or helping interns create a parks plan, like it's always been something that has kind of got me fired up.
What he's saying is he misses it. But that's
I really kind of like that. I like though that you've gone. I mean, you went out and you're doing other things.
Oh, we
It's
did too.
a full circle moment a little bit, right?
Yeah. The mayor's finally got to a good point where he realized, part of Brian being gone is great for him because I'm not harassing him, but if he's around sometimes, that's not bad all the time either. So
I can do a podcast and say 12 weeks.
We love those times. Well, will you come back and talk to us again more about this as it develops?
Sure. That would,
Okay.
and there might be other folks that we can pull in.
Sure.
The steering committee.
People love to hear from the steering committee, Brian.
No, I'm just saying it will pull people together, like the chamber, the Main
Sure,
Street,
yeah.
the city. We've
Make
got
it
a
more
really
cohesive.
solid
Yeah.
group. So
The arts, they're really coming around.
Yeah, good.
it's been super exciting. Yeah, Emily has really done a good job there. We've got some new blood that we just met with before we came here. A chamber that's got some new ideas. So I think that's one thing too that's a little unfair is. Especially if you've been mayor and you've been mayor for a while, and it's like, it's always the same people. I have never experienced that.
To me, that's like when your kids were in Little League or whatever. It's always the same people that are coaching. Well, that's because they step up and do it. If you would like to serve, please step up.
and that's exactly what I think you're seeing right now. Is
See
if you
how I
are
serve, I host a podcast.
if you are excited and want to be a part of it, and you've got the talent to do it, you'll find a spot
And if
here.
you don't, but you just want to enjoy it.
By the way,
Yeah.
for those people who they listen and they think, well, I'm kind of learning something, but they think, I wonder what's happening behind the scenes. I think that it would be really interesting for them to see the pictures that Kyle posts on the TV behind us, because he has spent a lot of time listening to what people talk about, and then he'll do a graphic of it.
The last one was Target.
The last
stacked
one was
on
the corner restaurant was replaced by a Target stacked on top of a Walmart.
Meyer.
on top of a mall.
That's a hell of an idea.
Yeah,
Corner
That
restaurant.
should have been our logo.
Have you guys thought of that?
It is not realistic, and we would post it, but people would think it was real.
That would have been a good April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
Well, one last thing I wanted to share that I thought was kind of fun is I've been playing around to try to figure out AI and what it can do. You know, whether it be we've got a fun personal project, working on a little book idea for my coming up grandson. That'd be kind of fun. But I took the information of the scores that we had and put it into AI and said, "Tell me about my community." And I even had it. I'll show you just so you can see a picture here. I know you guys can't see it out there, but it just started throwing things together. But one of the things it did is it said Rushville isn't just a place to live; it's a place to belong.
Wow,
that is what it came from, the data that we shared, and that's something that I strongly encourage everybody. It's the best part about being in a small town is you can make a difference. You can get involved somewhere, however little.
Everything.
You don't have to do everything. You pick something, pick something you're passionate about, get involved, and make a difference. So,
just a quick segue as we leave is, by chance, the name of the book, Grandpa Brian, is better than Grandpa Gary.
No, but I did tell Gary, he already has some grandchildren, and I said, I don't know if it's a competition or not, but if it is, you better watch out.
Right, watch your back. All right, Brian, thank you for coming.
Thank you all. Appreciate it. It's fun to be back.
That wraps up this episode of Unofficially Official. We thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed today's episode, you can subscribe to our show on your streaming platform of choice.